Hi, John Chisholm with Ember Learning, back with you again. I want to say something challenging to you. Conflict is good for relationships. Now, we did a video and we were talking about personal relationships and we were talking about intimacy and security and significance. Well, that probably has no bearing in business relationships. Well, I'm back to tell you, conflict is good for business relationships. I want to share with you 3 principles about why that's true. I'm not talking about so much about the process point, about how to have healthy process and difficult conversations. I'm talking to you about the doorway by which conflict can get you places in the relationship that's going to help the relationship be more effective. It's true in business relationships as well. Okay, the first principle I want to share with you about why conflict is good even in business relationships is this issue about how important it is to be able to really understand the other person's thoughts and perspective, that for the cause of the organization, I don't want to leave something unexplored. And conflict, if we'll lean into it, we're going to find out things about the other person, about how they see the problem, about what issues are really going on from their perspective, that if we don't try and lean into the conflict, those things are going to get unexpressed, unexplored, and that's not good for problem solving, that's not good for effectiveness in organization. In conflict, as I lean into it, things that are not clear and evident will become more clear and evident, and there's power in that for the organization. So don't back away from it. Conflict is really good for business relationships, for the cause of the organization. Okay, so the second principle I want to share with you, that conflict is good for business relationships and for organizations, is this whole thing about if we do not mine after what are the real issues and what are the real potential solutions, we're going to miss incredible opportunity. And so where there's conflict, there's probably unexplored thought processes and issues that are contributing to the conflict, that if we'll mine into that conflict, we're going to get those issues expressed. We're going to find out what are some of the contributing factors that maybe we didn't know about as we start to lean into the conversation. Potential solutions that we never even thought about. If we'll lean into the difficult conversation, into the conflict, all of a sudden we're going to start to discover. There is so much research that talks about how important every person's voice is on a team or in an organization. High performance organizations, high performance teams empowers everybody's voice. So what they're good at, what they know, their contribution can come to the table. We need to be proactive about mining for that. And one of the best places to mine is in a difficult conversation. It's in the midst of conflict. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you seeing? What's your perspective? What do you think are contributing factors? If we get good at that, even though I may not like what you're saying, I'm not feeling good about it. No, I'm going to lean into it because conflict is really good for business relationships. There is solutions, contributing factors, insights that's really going to help the organization, help the team, help the relationship. We got to learn how to lean into and mine into them. Okay, so the third principle now about why conflict is good for business relationships is the whole point about when we work through a conflict and get to the other side of it, the relationship is strengthened about, hey, I feel better about this person. Hey, I think I can work better with them. And so don't lose that opportunity. When conflict comes up, lean into it. Now, healthy process is important, but you're going to get someplace in the relationship you would never get to without the issue of conflict. And I think, again, most of us have experienced that, where we've had breakthrough with a business partner, breakthrough with a team member, that they were frustrating me, I was having a hard time with them, but when we really talked about it, we were able to get to a place in the relationship that empowered us to effectively work together. I have lots of experiences that with really strong personalities, work through the conflict, the relationship bonds. Now, I'm not talking about intimacy, I'm not talking about vacationing together, I'm not talking about lifelong friends, I'm talking about the ability to work effectively together in an organization. Conflict empowers us to more effectively work together. Don't back away from that doorway of getting to that place in the relationship. So, a big part of my management consulting practice is helping partners and business leaders work more effectively together. I get brought in when the relationship starts to strain and they need help. And so as a third party, I can help get that conversation in places it's never been before. But I got a really powerful story about an accounting firm, had a managing partner, had a high-ranking partner who was launching a new business model that looked like it had great opportunity. They ended up really having the relationship strained, having a hard time being in a room together, thinking the other party's not for them. It was really strained. And ultimately was going to put that new business model at risk. So they brought me in, able to get them talking and with healthy process. And what happened is the relationship unlocked. They heard one another at a level they hadn't been before. Now again, they didn't end up becoming best friends, but they ended up being really able to effectively work together. That new business model ended up being incredibly successful. They worked really, really well together. And they look back to that time in which I was the third party in a difficult conversation as a dramatic breakthrough that solidified the relationship. Trust got strengthened, confidence got strengthened, and when they were both doing really, really well, both the firm as well as that business model just thrived. And so conflict is good for business relationships. Conflict is good for business relationships. So conflict is really good for business relationships. I'm encouraging you to reach for that truth, to embrace that truth. Now, I haven't gone into the whole thing about healthy process. There's lots of additional resources on our website that's going to help you in that. I got this great handout on 15 things and ways in which we turn difficult conversations into win-win dialogue. It's a great tool for you for healthy process. I'm after in this challenging you to make a commitment to go on a journey to reach for, to embrace the power and the benefits of conflict in the midst of strained relationships. And so there's really good things that come out of it. We have lots of resources, but I want you to make the commitment to the journey, and then I'd love the opportunity to go on that journey with you with all the resources and experience that we have to offer. And so embrace it. Conflict is good for relationships.